Hello everyone, and welcome back to day 8 of the Advent of Cyber 3 by TryHackMe. Today's challenge is very fun. It's made by John Hammond, which is a YouTuber I really enjoy and appreciate. And basically he's bringing us into his world of PowerShell, GitHub, etc. It's a very fun challenge, and honestly, it makes you discover things on GitHub and just on Windows in general that you probably won't really care about unless it's in this context or you need to do it in a professional context. So it's very fun, and you'll see that today's theory section is very short because it's all about hands-on practice. So let's dive into the theory first, and then let's just go into the practice, and that's going to be the meat of this video. So basically, what John is telling us is that Christmas was again stolen, and that Santa's laptop is missing, basically. So what can we do now? Well, basically just investigate this whole event. So I'll be the first one to admit I need to get smarter about PowerShell. It's not a tool I'm really using as much as I should be using. Let's dive right into the practical part and just look at this, right? Alright, so once the machine has been started, just make sure that you are connected to the VPN, which you can see right here. If you don't know how to connect to the VPN, make sure to watch day 3 of the Advent of Cyber 3 because I go in depth into explaining you how to connect to the OpenVPN. So once that's done, you need to RDP into the machine. Now, how do we do that? Well, personally, I like to use Remina, which you can get by doing sudo apt-get install remina-y. Now, doing that, you will be prompted for your password because you did sudo. For me, I don't need to download it. I already have it, but take some time to do it. And if you want an alternative to Remina, I will show you on screen right now a command that you can do with x3rdp, which comes pre-installed on Kali. However, I like Remina just because it's GUI based and I don't need to worry too much about passing my options in the command line. I can just do it when I'm inside the GUI. So let's go to Remina. If you chose this option, inside Remina, press the upper left option to add a new connection profile. Once that's done, you can name it whatever you want. I'll call it Santa's laptop. Next, for the server, make sure to provide the IP address given to you. The username should be administrator, and the password should be Grinch123!. Next, press save and connect. You'll get certificate details, just press yes. And just like that, you can see that we are now connecting to this remote Windows machine, which is quite amazing. Put it in full screen, and then what you can do to have an actual full screen is look for toggle dynamic resolution update. If you do that, boom, you have a full screen Windows laptop, basically. Well, Windows window. Alright, so we're connected via RDP, so let's complete this first task. Now, we can see that the logs are in this folder right here. Alright, so now you can see that we have a couple of tasks, and a couple of logs, sorry, and all of them seems to be random. So there's randomly generated numbers. However, if we put it in date modify, we should get an actual good look. Alright, so now we see this one seems to be the first one. It's fine. Let's go here in the questions. Alright, so we see that each transaction is logged as a simple plain text file. We can get an idea as to which comes first by looking at the date modified or date created attributes. Yes, that's what we just did. So you see, alright, so what operating system is Santa's laptop running? OS name. So I'm guessing this is going to be in the first file. So this one right here. Now, I'm sorry if it's quite small. Oh, I can zoom it a little bit. So do we see OS name? Oh yeah, right here. So OS name is right here. So I just opened the first log, and basically I'm looking for OS name, which you could have done by doing Control F. Now let's grab this. Microsoft Windows 11 Pro. And there we go. So our first question is done. We are real investigators right now. Alright, so review each transaction. And the second transaction log seems to be the preparator created a backdoor user account. So what is the password of a new backdoor account? Alright, so in Windows, whenever you create an account, you need to do it using a specific syntax. And within that syntax, you actually see the password. And you can see it right here. So net user, and you can know that this user, Santa, with the password Grinch Stole Christmas, was created because of the /had at the end. And you can also see that this user, Santa, was added to the local group administrators because, again, of this /add. So the password we need for this question is Grinch Stole Christmas. I'll delete the space at the end, submit. So that's a good password. So now we see that the bad actor interacts with the target under the new backdoor account and copies a unique file to the desktop. Before it's copied, what is the full path of the original file? Alright, so does he do this in this one? No, he does not. Alright, so let's go into the third one, I guess. So we see copy here, user class .dat and dot. So it's gonna copy it to the current directory, which was desktop at this time, right? I'm not going to give you a lesson on paths, but you should know that dot is present working directory, and in this case it was desktop. So this is the full path of the file. So the actor uses the living of the land lol bin to encode this file and then verifies it succeeded by viewing the file output. What is the name of this lol bin? Alright. So we see the -n code of user class.dat created into santa.dat, right? So santa.dat is a new file being created after this encode has been done to user class.dat. So the original name is user class.dat. But then it's santa.dat at the end. Well, I was wrong. Interesting. Oh, okay. I learned something now. So, in this case, it's searchutil.exe, apparently. That's cool. I didn't know about what the lolbin was, so I learned something today. Yay. So, you can see the search util being used here. I didn't think that was a lolbin. That's cool. Awesome. So, now that we know this one, we see that this one was encoded with base64, which we can decode with CyberChef, which we did in day 2 about cookie manipulation. All right, so we need to decode the santa.dat file that was read, and then we need to look at shellbags explorer to find shell bags that are contained inside that file, basically, that base64 encoded file. If you want to read more, apparently, yeah, so there's a good reading here. I'll actually probably read it because I'm not very familiar with shell bags. Let's go to our laptop. All right, so now we were told that this is base64 encoded, which we can probably guess if we were to scroll down at the very end and see that it ends with equal, which is always a good sign. So now we need to copy all of this and then put it into CyberChef and then decode it. So that's going to take a while, right? If we were to just grab it and just scroll down. So what we can do instead is use some nice shortcuts. So we can just, put our cursor at the very beginning, press Control-Shift-End, and then just release the Control button, keep the Shift key pressed, and then just use the up arrow to remove whatever we don't need. Then we can press Control-C, go to CyberChef, paste it into the input, and then do from base64. Then I'm guessing we'll need to download, yeah, let's download the file. Download that, that's fine for me. Can we go ahead and open it just by curiosity? Alright, so we see that this is noise basically. Even if we base64 decoded it, it's still noise, and that's probably because of the shell bags basically that was being told to us. So I'm guessing that this is a special format file that contains other files probably. So let's go ahead into our shell bag folder, and let's open the application shell bags explorer. Alright, so now the application is open. Now what do we need to do with it? So what we need to do, yes, that's open, that's good. So now load offline IVE. Alright, then what do we need to do? So there's Santa Rat, which could be a remote access Trojan. Yes, that's what RAT stands for. Alright, so we create out the folder. What specific folder name clues us into thinking that this may be publicly accessible software? Alright, so let's do it step by step. So first we need to file, load offline IVE, find our download.dat we did, which is our base64 decoded string. And now we can see that this is why we couldn't read it before, right? Because there's folders inside of that data. So we can't just read it, right? Because it's encoded into folders, files, etc. So we can just humanly read the raw data. So this Santa Rat, something should tell us that this is publicly accessible. And in this case, I'm guessing this is going to be the .github. So for sure, if .github is here, it probably means that this thing is on GitHub. So let's do .github, and that's a good answer. So there is also a unique folder named bag of toys on the desktop. What is the name of the file found in this folder? So, oops, if I go back here, we see that there's a bag of toys folder with bag of toys.zip. So bag of toys.zip. Great. So track down the Santa Rat software online. So let's go on GitHub, github.com, and let's look for Santa Rat. Oh, alright, so now we see that the Grinchiest posted Santa Rat. I'll zoom it because I can now. So what is the name of the user that owns a Santa Rat repository? Well, that's Grinchiest. And what other repositories does this user own? That's interesting. So, alright, so welcome to GitHub. If you don't know how GitHub works, well, it's a very strong website which you should get to know. And basically, if we want to see other repositories that Grinchiest has, you can just click on the username, then go to repo. And now you'll see that there's Operation Bag of Toys, Santa Rat template, and I'm guessing, what do we need to do? So, of the repository that seems especially pertinent to our investigation, well, I guess it's the operation repo, which it is. Alright, so now we need to leave this and go back to our logs. And what is the name of the executable that installed a unique utility the actor used to collect the bag of toys? So now we need to go back to our log files, which I'll leave this open. And I'll go to the logs, and which logs were we at again? Probably this one. Alright, so what utility do we need? So we see a download file. I'm guessing this is the one, right? uhrc command install.exe. How did I know that? Well, it's a executable, right? It's a .exe. and you can actually see it being executed here as well. So that's why I guess that this was the good one. And you can actually see that this is the download command, and this is the output command. So this is where the Grinch put it inside the evil Santa desktop. All right. So now we see that the actor compressed the original contents of the bag of toys with the password, which we can proof by going here, I guess. Yes. All right. So what are the content of these malicious files? Okay, so can we scroll down here and see something? No, not really. All right, so let's go into the final log, I guess. All right, so we see that there's a password that was put into the bag of toys. I don't think we can read it here. It probably was using a file. So we see that he deleted everything in the bag of toys, which is what was told to us, right? So he removed everything from the bag of toys and added new things like coal, mold, worms, and more. So what are the content of these malicious files? All right, so welcome back to a quick command line course, I guess. So we see that the Grinch echo Grinchmas, and then he outputs. So he takes the output, the terminal output, and redirects it into a file called coal at the end here. So the content will be whatever would be the output of this echo command, right? Because the output of this echo command gets redirected. So if I were to go here, for example, and do echo Grinchmas, well, you see that the output of this command is Grinchmas. But if I were to redirect it into example.txt, for example, nothing will happen. However, this Grinchmas will be put into example.txt. So if I do ls-l, you see that I have example.txt here. Now, if I were to cat it out, you see that the content is Grinchmas. So the content, the answer of this question should be Grinchmas. Once that's done, we maybe obsec mistake. So we need to go back to the GitHub. So let's go back to the GitHub and go into his commit. Yeah, so the commit messages to find maybe the password of the original bag of toys archive. So let's go to the commits right here. I'm in the operation bag of toys repository, which I'll show you again how to reach. So you see, you got here first, then click on the username, then click on the operation bag of toys, then click on commits right here. So we see that there's a couple of comments that were done. So planning for operation. Now we see that basically the readme was posted and there was no other comment. So it's not this one. Now we see that the Grinch stole Santa's bag of toys, which he seems very happy about. And we see a comment called password, PW, with this string, the Grinchiest Grinchmas of all. So what is the password? The Grinchiest Grinchmas of all. Say that 10 times. So MexCD was able to download and save the copy of this archive, and we have it on the desktop of the Windows analysis machine. So what do we need to do? So now that we have the password, we can close this, yes, close this, and double click bag of toys, paste the password being the Grinchiest Grinchmas of all, press OK. And now you can see that we opened it. Now the question is, how many gifts are inside? How many original files were present in the Santa's bag of toys? Which is 228 right here. So 228. Oops. And just like that, guys, we saved Santa's bag of toys and saved Christmas once more. So, yep, let's go to the outro. Thank you guys so much for watching day 8 of the Advent of Cyber 3 by TryHackMe. Today's challenge was a bit longer, however, it always kept us on our toes, and I like how it led outside of the virtual machine that we had and led to GitHub, for example. That's always very cool that, you know, we do a little bit of open source intelligence, so OSINT, and mixed with actually doing a log investigation. It was a very nice day. I liked it a lot. So If you like my content, please consider subscribing. It always helps me a lot. If you want to support me, the links are in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you tomorrow for day 9 of the Advent of Cyber 3 by TryHackMe's.